Which Star Wars capital ship could literally split planets with its firepower? And which one was powerful enough to track enemy vessels through hyperspace? Something previously thought impossible in the Star Wars universe. From the Republic's workhorse Venator to the First Order's city-sized Supremacy, these 8 capital ships defined galactic warfare across 3 eras. I'm analyzing how each faction's flagship reveals their military philosophy, resource allocation, and technological priorities, showing you exactly why these vessels were built the way they were. Republic era. Versatility versus specialization. What if the entire outcome of the Clone Wars wasn't determined by lightsaber duels or clone trooper battles, but by the engineering decisions made in orbital shipyards? When we examine the capital ships that dominated this era, we see 2 completely different approaches to warfare. Such an engineering marvel is the Venator-class Star Destroyer, the backbone of the Republic Navy. The Venator represented the Republic's core military philosophy: adaptability in a galaxy-spanning conflict. These 1,137-meter vessels weren't designed to excel at any single task, but rather to handle multiple mission profiles with competence. The Venator's primary strength was its remarkable carrier capacity. With 2 flight decks and massive hangar bays, a single Venator could deploy over 400 fighters, gunships, and other small craft. This made it an exceptional force projection platform, allowing the Republic to rapidly respond to separatist movements across multiple systems. Republic admirals used this capability to maintain air superiority in countless engagements while simultaneously transporting thousands of clone troopers to battlefronts. Despite its impressive 52-point defense laser cannons and 8 heavy turbo laser batteries, the Venator wasn't primarily designed as a direct combat vessel. Its firepower was respectable but distributed to cover multiple attack vectors rather than concentrated for capital ship engagements. This jack-of-all-trades approach meant Venators often struggled when facing dedicated warships in direct confrontations. The Venator's design also featured critical vulnerabilities. Its distinctive command tower created an obvious target for enemy fire, and the vessel's reliance on clone crews meant significant personnel losses when ships were destroyed. With approximately 7,400 crew members per vessel, each Venator that fell represented a major investment of the Republic's limited human resources. The Separatist Alliance took a completely different approach to capital ship design, focusing on specialized vessels with overwhelming power in specific combat scenarios. The Malevolence represents the extreme end of this philosophy. This subjugator-class heavy cruiser stretched nearly 5 kilometers and featured twin mega-ion cannons that could disable entire Republic fleets with a single firing sequence. General Grievous used the Malevolence to devastating effect in the early stages of the war, destroying dozens of Republic vessels before they could even engage in combat. The ship's specialized weaponry allowed it to neutralize enemy fleets, then methodically destroy the defenseless vessels with conventional weapons. Rather than versatility, the Malevolence embodied the Separatist focus on overwhelming technological advantage in a single dimension. The Providence-class dreadnought, exemplified by Grievous's flagship Invisible Hand, further demonstrates the Separatist approach. With over 100 turbo laser batteries concentrated primarily in forward-facing arcs, the Providence class excelled at frontal assault tactics. These vessels required minimal organic crew, instead utilizing battle droids for most operations, a significant advantage considering the Separatists' manufacturing capabilities versus the Republic's limited clone production. The stark contrast between Republic and Separatist capital ships reveals how each faction allocated their resources based on core strengths. The Republic, with its limited but highly trained clone forces, built versatile vessels that could adapt to changing battlefield conditions and maximize the effectiveness of their troops. The Separatists, with virtually unlimited droid production but less tactical flexibility, created specialized platforms that could overwhelm opponents through raw firepower and technological superiority. This difference in design philosophy directly impacted battle tactics throughout the war. Republic forces relied on coordinated fighter screens and combined arms approaches, while separatist commanders sought to create overwhelming advantage through technological superiority in specific combat dimensions. As the Republic transformed into the Galactic Empire, this fundamental approach to naval warfare would undergo a dramatic shift. The versatile Venator, with its emphasis on fighter deployment and multi-role capability, would give way to vessels designed with very different priorities, a transformation that would reshape warfare across the galaxy. Imperial Era. Intimidation through scale. When Emperor Palpatine seized control of the Republic, naval doctrine transformed completely. The Empire didn't just want to win battles, it wanted to prevent them entirely through raw intimidation. This shift manifested directly in their capital ship designs. The Imperial-class Star Destroyer represented a complete departure from Venator philosophy. Where the Venator balanced multiple capabilities, the ISD specialized in direct combat power and psychological warfare. Standing at 1,600 meters long, these wedge-shaped vessels projected Imperial authority through their very silhouette, a design choice deliberately made to instill fear rather than optimize combat performance. The ISD's military capabilities backed up this intimidation strategy. Its 60 turbo laser batteries and 60 ion cannons doubled the Venator's firepower, while improved shield generators and armor made it significantly more resilient in direct engagements. Perhaps most importantly, Imperial shipyards mass-produced these vessels at unprecedented scale. At the height of the Empire, over 25,000 Star Destroyers patrolled Imperial space, allowing the Empire to station these massive warships even in remote systems. This standardization represented a core Imperial value: uniformity over adaptation. Every Imperial-class vessel shared identical specifications, creating a plug-and-play fleet where commanders and crew could transfer between ships without additional training. This standardization supported rapid expansion but limited tactical flexibility. The ISD's weaknesses directly reflected its single-minded design approach. Its starfighter capacity shrunk dramatically compared to the Venator, carrying only 72 TIE fighters, vessels that lacked hyperdrives and relied on their carrier ships for strategic mobility. The exposed shield generators atop the command tower created an obvious vulnerability, and the massive crew requirement of 37,000 personnel per vessel stretched Imperial manpower to its limits. These vulnerabilities created an opening for rebellion strategists seeking asymmetric advantages. The MC-80 Liberty-type starcruiser emerged as the rebellion's primary capital ship. Measuring approximately 1,200 meters in length, these vessels weren't purpose-built warships, but repurposed Mon Calamari passenger liners and exploration vessels. This civilian heritage gave the MC-80 distinct advantages. Their organic, non-standardized designs confused Imperial targeting systems, while their shield generators were distributed throughout the hull rather than concentrated in vulnerable locations. Most importantly, they required significantly smaller crews, typically around 5,400 personnel, just 15% of an ISD's requirements, allowing the resource-constrained rebellion to field capital ships despite limited manpower. The MC-80's primary weakness was firepower. With approximately 48 turbo laser batteries, they couldn't match an ISD in direct combat. Rebellion commanders compensated by emphasizing starfighter operations, with each MC-80 carrying up to 120 fighters, nearly double an Imperial Star Destroyer's capacity. Emperor Palpatine, frustrated by the rebellion's continued evasion, authorized the ultimate expression of Imperial naval doctrine: the Executor-class Star Dreadnought. These 19-kilometer behemoths dwarfed everything else in space. The Executor itself served as Darth Vader's flagship, carrying over 1,000 turbo laser batteries, 250 concussion missile tubes, and 5,000 fighters. Its crew numbered over 280,000 personnel, equivalent to the population of a small city. The Executor represented Imperial ideology in physical form: overwhelming force applied without subtlety or restraint. A single superstar destroyer could devastate an entire planetary system, requiring only moments to reduce a planet's surface to molten slag. The psychological impact of these vessels proved even more significant than their military capability. Many systems surrendered immediately upon the arrival of an executor-class vessel. This arms race between imperial standardization and rebellion adaptation revealed how political ideology directly shaped military technology. The Empire, with centralized authority and vast resources, built increasingly large vessels designed to intimidate rather than adapt. The rebellion, decentralized and resource-constrained, modified existing technology to create resilient, flexible responses. This pattern of escalation would continue after the Empire's fall, with the First Order taking imperial design philosophy to even more extreme technological heights. First Order era. Technological extremes. What happens when technological obsession meets virtually unlimited resources? Following the Empire's collapse, multiple factions emerged with very different approaches to capital ship design. The First Order, hiding in the unknown regions, devoted decades to weapons development unencumbered by New Republic oversight. The First Order's flagship reveals their priorities better than any political manifesto. The Supremacy represented an unprecedented leap in capital ship scale. This mega-class star dreadnought stretched 60 kilometers from wing to wing, over 3 times longer than even the massive executor. Supreme Leader Snoke didn't commission a warship, but rather a mobile capital city. The Supremacy's design prioritized self-sufficiency above all else. Unlike other vessels that required periodic returns to shipyards, it contained full manufacturing facilities capable of producing everything from TIE fighters to officer uniforms. These factories could completely rebuild portions of the First Order fleet without ever returning to a planetary base. This capability transformed how the First Order conducted military operations, allowing them to remain hidden while building up overwhelming force. The ship's technological advantages extended beyond manufacturing. Its size enabled power systems that dwarfed previous designs, supporting experimental weapons and defensive systems that smaller vessels simply couldn't accommodate. Most significantly, the Supremacy housed the breakthrough hyperspace tracking technology that allowed the First Order to follow resistance vessels through light speed, something previously considered impossible. Despite these advantages, the Supremacy's design contained critical vulnerabilities. Its massive wing structure created structural weak points that could compromise the entire vessel if targeted precisely. More fundamentally, centralizing so many critical operations in a single vessel created a catastrophic single point of failure. When Vice Admiral Holdo executed her hyperspace ramming maneuver, she didn't just damage the Supremacy. She crippled the First Order's entire command, control, and manufacturing infrastructure in one strike. The Mandator-class Star Dreadnought represents an even more extreme specialized design philosophy. Rather than versatility, these vessels served a single purpose: orbital siege capability. The Mandator 4 class, exemplified by the Fulminatrix, featured an orbital autocannon, a specialized siege weapon capable of breaking planetary shields from orbit. This specialization came at the cost of defensive capabilities against capital ship engagements. Most extreme was the specialized Mandator class variant used for the Siege Dreadnought program. These vessels incorporated scaled-down Death Star technology into capital ships with the super laser siege cannon. While significantly less powerful than the Death Star's planet-destroying super laser, these weapons could still crack planetary crusts and render worlds uninhabitable within hours. This extreme specialization marked a fundamental shift in how galactic powers viewed capital ships. The First Order abandoned the balanced design philosophy that characterized earlier eras, instead creating vessels that excelled in very specific combat scenarios. Rather than military practicality, these ships prioritized psychological warfare through overwhelming destructive capability. The resource requirements for these vessels proved staggering. A single Mandator-class dreadnought required more raw materials than 100 Imperial-class Star Destroyers. This expense was deliberate. The First Order didn't just want effective weapons. They wanted weapons that demonstrated their technological superiority and unlimited resource access. This approach differed fundamentally from both imperial and republic design philosophies. Where the republic built versatile vessels to maximize limited resources, and the empire built standardized intimidation platforms, the First Order created specialized technological showcases. Each iteration pursued more extreme capabilities with less concern for practical battlefield utility. These design choices reveal how post-imperial factions viewed warfare, not as a means to control territory or resources, but as a psychological campaign to demonstrate technological supremacy. This shift fundamentally altered how capital ships were designed, built, and deployed, prioritizing spectacle over strategic flexibility. The galaxy had entered an era where capital ships existed not just to win wars, but to demonstrate the capacity for unprecedented destruction. Looking across these three eras of capital ships, we can trace how each faction's values materialized in steel and durasteel. The Republic built versatile vessels reflecting their adaptable approach to warfare. The Empire abandoned this flexibility for standardized intimidation platforms that projected power through sheer scale. The First Order took this philosophy to technological extremes, creating specialized weapons platforms regardless of practical combat utility. Each ship stands as a durasteel monument to its creator's ideals. The most successful balanced offense, defense, and efficiency within their strategic context. What do these design philosophies reveal about the soul of each civilization? Share your thoughts below on which era's approach resonates most with you. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and force push the notification button.